Hello, fam. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I really appreciate all of you here. I really appreciate the time that you're taking to follow some of this stuff that we are doing here. And I really want to thank everyone who supported me when I launched this series 2 weeks ago. I really thank everyone who commented, who liked, who shared, and even subscribed to the channel. It's really amazing that our channel grew by 100% in just 2 weeks. So I really appreciate all of you, and I appreciate everyone who was taking their time to share what the content that we have here. So the idea, again, if you're new here, the idea of these videos, of this series of videos, is to just share about a project that I'm doing back home in Zimbabwe. The main goal is to just share knowledge and also to get some advice from people who've gone through the same. And also there are people who are also going through the same stuff right now, and they need some information. So it's more of a shared information session, or I guess just something to have a shared lived experience on. So today, we are going to talk about a couple of things, and at the end of the video, as usual, I'll share with you the progress on the site and where we are. So based on some of the responses I got last week, I wrote down a couple of points that I want to talk about today. So the first point was what is the paperwork that is involved during buying the land. So, to be honest, I really did not know a lot about this when I bought the land, but I was always just so skeptical because there are so many land barons back home. So at least what I did was to look for a reputable developer and engage them. So in my case, I was fortunate enough to find, I don't know if you are from Blawa, if you know this land developer or company called JRG, and the project in Hoplin and stuff like that. So it's a really big, well-known company that really did help me a lot in establishing the trust. But I also managed to get a lawyer to also look at the paperwork, which is more of like the session and everything like that. So it was more or less me trusting the developer, at the same time also asking someone more knowledgeable in the field to take a look. So I cannot give like concrete solutions for this because the problems are different. But my recommendation will be, first, find a reputable developer, see the projects that they have done. If you can contact some of the people that have built in that land, contact them. Also get all the paperwork, the subdivision permit and stuff like that. Send it to your lawyer, if you have a lawyer, or if you have a relative that is a lawyer, or someone who is more knowledgeable in the field, so that they can check for you, and they'll do that. And then once you buy, how I then managed to get the title deed. So once I bought, and since I was not in the country, I had to sign a power of attorney to someone back home that I really trust, that will stand in the gap for me in case the town council or Zimbra, whoever is responsible for providing that stuff, calls for an interview. That person can go and stand in my behalf. So it's important to also sign the power of attorney and delegate someone that you really trust to take a look at things for you. Of course, when it then gets to the town council, you are more or less going there you can also go there to verify if the paperwork that you're given by the developer is legit or not. But mostly I engaged the town council when I was about to start the project. So, which means when the plans were already set and I'd agreed with my architect, I'll share a link to my architect's profile, and you can check it out. Also, I have some, again, you'll see as the house progresses, as the videos progress, you also see some of the work that the architect did. But again, I only reached the town council when I was ready to get my plans approved and stuff like that. So again, my architect really helped me with that. He took care of handling all the town council staff right up to the approval of the plan. So this leads right next to the next point of getting an architect. So, or at least starting the project. So you technically don't need to wait to finish paying for the land before you get an architect, someone who's going to draw the plans for you. So fortunately or unfortunately for me, I had to go through 2 series of architects. So the first idea that I had at the house was to build a double-story house. But then with much research and stuff, I realized that I don't really need a double-story house. So I reverted back to a single-story house. I found an architect on Twitter. So Maya, the architect that ended up doing my project, tweeted something, and then I then saw, they have really good designs, and I reached out, and that's how we started a working relationship. So they drew up the plans, got my requirements and everything like that. And here we have some of the best work that my architect did. So these are the elevations or renders for the front of the house, the back of the house, and the top down view. So enjoy. It's really important to get a reputable architect again, because there are so many architects out there. Some might not be the best for you. So it's important to look at reputable guys that have done something, or if they are trying something out, at least if you have faith in them, then it's perfectly fine. So after getting the architect and architect doing all the stuff and the plans and everything, after everything was approved, I then got a quantity surveyor to more or less give me an estimate of how much we were working with. So yeah, I'll be honest here, since again it's shared experience. So all in all, my bill of quantities, including labor for the house, is around 100,000 US dollars. But of course, it's not all at once. So it's divided in stages, and the most expensive part for me are the finishings, because there's a lot of glass, a lot of windows and stuff like that. But otherwise, the substructure, superstructure and everything is relatively manageable. After getting the quantity surveyor, you now have an idea of how the project is going to look like. You have an idea of how the house is going to look like at the end. So what was left is getting the contractor, which is probably the most difficult part that I had to go through, because it's so hard to find a reputable contractor if you're not on the ground. So I ended up going with someone that built my home church, and I really trust in that person, because he or she had worked with the people at church. So I had that trust. After getting the contractor, we then had to just deal with a bit of some paperwork, get approval from the developer that we can start building. And that's where we are now. So if you're coming from the last video, you know how we all went through the process of starting to build and stuff like that. But I'll just give a detailed breakdown here, because I personally was caught with a lot of new things. I was surprised with a lot of new things, because I didn't know a whole lot of things. I just thought these guys would just get there and start digging, but it was definitely not like that. So my town council is Umkuza Rural District. So before we started, we had to the contractor had to draw the representation of the plan on the ground and according to scale, because the plan is according to scale. So they had to draw this representation on the ground. And after doing that, the town council had to send its inspectors to come and inspect if everything was drawn according to plan. So that was a very crazy part for me, because I didn't know that we needed that. So I was there home, I've gone there, I've traveled all the way because I want to see the ground breaking and stuff like that, but I cannot see the ground breaking. All I can see is the drawings on the ground. And here we are waiting for 2 or 3 weeks for an inspector to just come and spend 5 minutes inspecting the ground. to see if everything is done right, which is something I really applaud. But at the same time, it was like, so this is something that you have to be careful about. Each town council has a different inspection structure. So for my town council, they will inspect setting out, they will inspect digging the trenches, they will inspect the backfilling, the window level, and all going up, 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 up. So they will give you that inspection card, and from the inspection card, you'll know which stage needs to be inspected. So after setting out and the inspector coming 2 weeks later, we managed to start digging the trenches. Also, after digging the trenches, we had to wait for the inspector to come back again. After, I don't know, they take forever, but I had already left. So, I mean, already talking about this, I can feel that some other people might just think, okay, let's just do this and just go ahead, then we'll pay the fine and stuff like that. My recommendation is, please wait for the inspector. The inspector is so valuable, because if it wasn't for the inspector, for my project, for this project, there were some mistakes that were going to be very hard, if not impossible, to correct in the future. So this inspector really helped us to fix those problems. So please don't skip a stage that needs inspection. It will save you a lot of money. It's also for your safety and comfort in the future. So yeah, that's where we are. So after digging the trenches, the inspector came and approved, and we started pouring the concrete footing. So I'll share, I'm sure, like the last videos, of course, the last video we had the process when they were pouring the concrete and stuff like that. I'll also share it with you in this video. But after pouring the concrete, we had to wait for the concrete to cure. So pouring water and stuff like that so that the concrete cures. And after that, that's when like the beautiful part started to come up, right? When we started to add the bricks and just creating, the box. I think that was the most surreal moment for me. And as you see in some of the videos, it was just so surreal because I could start seeing the vision that I had come to fruition. So yeah, today where we are is that we are almost done with the box, and after that we are going to start looking for some inert field for backfilling and stuff like that. After backfilling, we're going to get the inspector to come again and inspect and see if we did it right and everything like that. But yeah, it's a long process, it's a long project, and I really hope that a lot of you guys will have something to learn from this. But otherwise, thank you so much for keeping up with me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Ciao. So this is the outlook of the open plan kitchen, dining, living room space, and that shows the garage, and to your left is the bedrooms.